Hey everybody, welcome to Swing Batter, hosted by BadderSports. I'm your host, Brendan. I'm really stoked today because we have to have a talk about 2023 and what the heck happened and why managers are getting let go. And one in particular that I will forever be grateful that he manages, because I think he's the greatest setup man in the history of setups. So without further ado, Todd Lemieux, you get to take it away because he was the last one to impact a team. It was your team. He impacted your team in a way that you will remember very raw for you to this day, because we're still feeling 2023 and what happened there.
My only question to the greatest setup man of all time, Buck Showalter, was the love affair with Daniel Vogelbach worth it?
The love.
Continually all year, we had to sit and watch as he consistently put Daniel Vogelbach behind Pete Alonzo, who still hit 45 home runs, 40, God knows how many home runs. And I only think, could he have hit 75 home runs if he actually had a power hitter hitting behind him instead of a guy that just perpetually would look at the ball, wonder if it was a strike, and then 2 pitches later argue with the umpire about the strike that was called on him. Like, that was Daniel Vogelbach all season. Yet for some reason, don't put Alvarez behind don't put Alvarez behind Alonzo. Don't put Lindor behind Alonzo. Don't put anybody that behind Alonzo that had any sense of just Alonzo followed by a giant cheeseburger. That's what he did. And we had people coming up from the minor leagues. Vientos would hit a home run, and he'd get benched. Beatty would hit a home run, and he'd get benched. Alvarez, home run, bench him. It made no sense. His absolute love affair with veterans. And it just, here's the other part. This is the other part that really stuck in my craw about what was going on with Showalter this year. Pete Alonzo gets hit, breaks his hand. He has a fracture in his hand, right? It affected his season. I don't care what you say. Any retribution? Anybody getting angry? Any Terry Collins running out, yelling at the umpire that we got to have our shot? No, nothing. Just the black book of emptiness. That's it. Just sitting on the sidelines. The black, just staring at. And then after the game, we lose again. What does Buck say? I'm proud. I'm proud of these guys. I like what I saw with Cookie Carrasco continuing to put up multiple runs in the first inning. I'm really proud of this. Come on. It was obvious to me that, number one, the guy was not motivating the team. The guy was not pulling anything out of his hat that was making the team better. When the team is slumping, there's no fire, there's no passion. But okay, he's a baseball whiz kid. Let's go through Buck Showalter's historical record and find out what this baseball whiz kid did. All right. In 1992, he became the manager of the New York Yankees, right? When did that end? In 1995. In 1995. What did the Yankees do the next year? What did he do the next year? They won the World Series. Then where did he go next? Oh, he went to the Arizona Diamondbacks in 1998. That ended in 2000. What happened in 2001? Diamondbacks won the World Series. Oh, where did he go next? He went to the Texas Rangers in 2003. 2006, he gets fired. Ron Washington takes over the Texas Rangers. In 2010, Texas Rangers go to the World Series. Baltimore Orioles manages them from 2010 to 2018. In 2018, he actually manages to lose 115 games and gets fired. Now, what do we have? Baltimore Orioles blow everybody out, win the division. Be really awesome if they go to the World Series. That'd be a great story.
One of the best records in baseball.
So now he gets let go gracefully by Stearns, incoming from the New York Mets, and I can't wait for the next manager to go to the World Series.
So I have a question for you about Buck. This is just, he's on ESPN. He's talked a lot on ESPN. I've listened to him talk. I remember him as a Diamondback manager. He was frustrating. I look at it as he believes in a system that he's going to follow regardless, push comes to shove. So the next manager comes in, listens to the players, gets a better feeling or a better vibe or a better, the next manager after Buck Showalter was Bob Brenly for the Diamondbacks. Totally different person. Totally different personality. So is he just so dry and he's like paint with numbers that this is the team, this is the lineup, this is what it should be. I'm sticking with the method that should work. And when it doesn't, he's like, oh, well, it should have worked. To this day, I think he thinks he was successful at every stop of the way. Every stop of the road that you're calling him a setup man, he was successful. Or did he prevent the team from going to the World Series earlier?
This is what gets me. Define success as a manager. Because here's the thing. Anytime I criticize Buck Showalter on Twitter, this is what I get. Well, he doesn't play the game. It's the players that play the game. Okay, so did the players perform higher than their average when he was the manager? Well, that's not how you measure. How do you measure success as a manager then? Mm-hmm. How do you measure success as a coach? Are the players playing better than their average under this manager or coach? Is this coach revealing something about the player or giving something to the player that's allowing the player to pitch, throw better, be in a better position to win? Is the team winning? Is the team performing better than they should without you? In his first year with the Mets won 101 games. This year they didn't. So here's the question. Which one was the Buck Showalter effect most prevalent? Was it in the first year or was it in the second year?
So this is his second year in this contract? And he's
done. It's over.
Oh.
When the Diamondbacks were building their team, they hadn't played a game yet. Jerry Colangelo hired Buck Showalter before they had played a game, and he came in, and he is such an incredible detail guy. He designed the letterhead. He made the rules of how you can go to a ball game, what you can bring in. He did all that stuff. He did all this stuff unrelated to baseball because he just has got to get all the details right. And Colangelo recognized him for great help in his organization skills. I think everybody thinks he knows baseball really well, but it's the same old story. He has less emotions than Captain Spock. He just sits there, it just doesn't matter if you get a grand slam home run or you strike out. He just is placid the whole time. And, I suppose that's good so people don't panic. Baseball's a 162-game season, but in time, he just seems to wear it out with the players. It's just unemotional, and he does not like change. I mean, that's very, very clear. So he did, I think everyone recognizes, a good job with a brand new team in Arizona. But why did they, just as they bring in Randy Johnson and all these guys, why did they then get rid of him? And Bob Brenly, who won the World Series, never managed before, never managed afterwards. So he can't be respected as a great manager. It's just kind of like he let everyone take their jacket off and just go play the ball game without all the restrictions Buck had, and it worked. So that's my thoughts.
Okay, so Buck Showalter's managerial record is barely over 500 for all the games that he played.
I have a theory after Dad just went over the detail, and I do remember some of that stuff. So if Buck Showalter is such a stickler to dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and if you're a Major League Baseball player and he's worried about your dress on the road or your dress when you get to the office or these little things, you're taking away the mental bandwidth of a player that probably doesn't have a lot of mental bandwidth to begin with. You need to allow that player to be thinking about, dreaming about, what do I need to do in the next at bat? Not, am I dreaming about it in the right way? Once you start telling someone how they have to do a process in the right way, you're hindering their possibilities for success.
So, but this goes back to my other point. If he's such a stickler to detail, then why isn't he addressing the batting coach when every single Met can't touch a ball for 2 months out of the year? Where's the conversation with the batting coach? Where's the conversation with anybody?
Because
hey, McNeil, maybe not drop your shoulder because every time you're up there, you're trying to blast a home run. Maybe go back to what led you to be the batting champ last year. Everybody watching these games, everybody on Twitter could see McNeil drop his shoulder and swing the. That's why you're popping up. And McNeil throws a temper tantrum. Buck just says, well, I guess he's not doing too hot. Maybe I should talk to the batting coach. Maybe something. show us you care. At least Bobby Valentine dressed up in the Groucho Marx mustache and sat in the dugout and came out and argued with somebody. Like Buck Showalter can't even get thrown out of a game with style.
Buck Showalter is the definition of an incorrect person in the incorrect position. Dad,
manager?
He worries about the wrong things. If you're not worried about sales and you need sales, and Buck comes in and says we should never worry about sales. He's not the sales guy. When you look at him with baseball, I guarantee you, if you talk to these players, what was Buck concerned about before the game? How many answers would be about that pitcher, about that game, are not about all the extracurriculars, to your point, all the details that he expected his players to go by. This is bottleneck managing. This is in a game that takes creativity, takes imagination. I mean, Buck doesn't have it.
Listen, the players seem to like him. Francisco Lindor loved him. I mean, he was like a big fan of him. The players all seem to support him. But I mean, jeez, I'm crow.
So what team do you suggest that Buck go to? Because I have a couple suggestions if we're going to say he's a great setup guy. Because
Team Italy?
No. if I'm the owners of the Angels and I have not done anything for so long, aren't you hiring Buck just to say, hey, the next guy has a chance of putting me in the series? Because the Angels haven't been anything, and Trout's career is coming to an end here in the next 5, 7, 8 years.
Colorado Rockies should be hiring him tomorrow. Tomorrow. He can calculate wind speed of an unladen sparrow flying through the Rockies and how that's going to affect every single pitcher that comes in. And he can get Danny Berger, Danny Vogelbach. He can get all the burgers in there, all he wants. And then he can science it up with his chemistry set of baseball. He can do whatever he wants. But they should take Billy Epler, too. And the two of them can talk about all their analytics and how it did nothing for the Mets but destroy the team. The team should have gone to the World Series.
Oakland / Las Vegas A's. They could pick him up.
Just for 3 days. Just whatever.
Oakland's too smart. No, I think
he's the Buddy Ryan of baseball.
Colorado is an intriguing idea.
Colorado could make any headway ever.
And Billy Epler can come in and they can sign 2 or 3 of the worst free agent signings for Colorado to go along with Chris Bryant.
Oh, jeez.
So we all know Buck's going to go to ESPN. That's what he's going to do. He's going to be an analyst, just like all the old managers.
That show should be exciting.
Oh, it's the same exciting show it's always been. They have a contract. He has a manager who already knows him. He's probably already set it up. He gets to stay on the East Coast, do his thing. He's happy. He gets to do his thing. I'm going to give you 4 options of where he should go next, and you tell me which team should be the ones to do it. Okay, I agree with Colorado Rockies was a good one. The Los Angeles Angels, number 2. The Pittsburgh Pirates are number 3.
No.
And the Cincinnati Reds are my number 4.
Not the Pirates. The Pirates are close enough without him. They don't need him.
Okay. Could have argued that with the Mets.
All right. I really do. I don't know. I compare him to the whole Ryan family in football.
That's fair. Dad, what team, if you're the owner of a team, which team do you think would be worthwhile to spend it on Buck Showalter just to get your team more in order to get ready for the next stage?
Build up for the next guy? How about the Red Sox?
The Red Sox. I don't think he could handle the Red Sox. Well, no, he handled the Mets media and the Red Sox media are different, though, right?
No, he needs to be in a place that, the biggest spice they have in that area is vanilla.
So like the Chicago White Sox, it's an indifferent organization in an indifferent city.
No, because Chicago's got flavor. They've got a media. There's some anger there. It can't be Chicago. It's got to be like the Royals. No, they got barbecue. What? Like maybe Cincinnati. Have you seen Cincinnati chili?
No.
Have you seen a pizza in Pittsburgh? They got maybe Pittsburgh would work. They got problems there. There's no spice in Pittsburgh.
No spice in Pittsburgh. No spice in Cincinnati. I can see both those. So your final goodbye note to Buck, your final love note to Buck as a Mets fan after watching him for this last season was just miserable for you. What is your love story to say goodbye? Because I didn't have a problem with them getting rid of Buck. I think Buck was really good for the Diamondbacks. Even when they got rid of him, it was just his time. With the Mets, it just seems like it was a car accident. So what's your love note to Buck? Your kiss.
Buck, I want to thank you for being the hero that throws himself on the grenade that everybody knew was going to blow up at the end of the season. My only regret is you didn't pull Billy Epler with you.
You took the grenade all to yourself without Billy.
Yeah, like in a true self-sacrificial. And listen, the World Series ring we win next year should probably go to you.
Next year seems a bit excessive, but I'm happy you're already talking.
Shut your mouth.
I mean, there are some teams that
It's happening. It's happening.
Three teams.
Greatest setup man ever.
Listen, the Mets are in a conundrum of like the Los Angeles Angels, and the fact that they're in these divisions that are very competitive, and they're in the fourth place. And
let's not get into that. It doesn't matter. We had Buck Showalter.
Dad, any
end
farewell
of story?
Any farewell notes to Buck?
I think New York should be very thankful for Bud for setting them up for the future. I don't know about next year because all of his teams didn't win the very next year. Some did. But I think the future looks bright for the Mets just because they put up with Buck for a few years. How long was he at the Mets?
2 years.
That's not
really
long.
Felt like 5.
For the Mets, we never have a manager for more than 2 years, and it always feels like 5.
But
Look at all of them. I mean, like it's
is that when you're like in the middle of a breakup and it's like this relationship was like 4 years of the worst time of my life, and you're like it was 6 months. It was 6 months.
Yeah. It felt like we went through every season. That felt like we went to the pumpkin patch 4 times.
It was terrible. Well, Buck, I appreciate the passion you bring out of my brother. I appreciate everything that you were able to do, and I look forward to not watching you on ESPN. And I look forward to not seeing your commentary.
A Buck Showalter TV show would like reading bedtime stories to your little kids so they go to sleep.
The denouement is at the beginning.
Well, I am your host for Swing Batter, Brendan. Thanks so much for joining us, and check out Batter Sports. Check out all the new content. We're excited about these podcasts. Obviously, we have an off season of second guessing and wondering if the Angels will ever fix it, or the Mets, or maybe the Pirates. I don't know. So many things to talk about this off season. Thanks so much, Dad. Thanks so much, Todd. It's been fun. Bye now.
Bye.